Hi, I'm Austin Eartham. Welcome to the Kitchen Table Podcast. I'm here to motivate, educate, and relate to you guys sharing my stories so I'm going to get 1% better in all areas of your life. Welcome to episode 117. Got a good episode this week again, kind of talking about my last week. We're going to be talking about how working ahead is important, as well as building relationships. So no news this week. So without further ado, here we go. To get 1% better, I got an interesting quote this week. My dad sent me that. I thought it was interesting with kind of all the rain that my neck of the woods gotten lately. Waking up in the morning again can be a challenge, but it's also beautiful outside after the rain. So one thing he sent is it's a panda sleeping in a tree, and it says, "Never give up on your dreams. Keep sleeping." So obviously a panda's dreaming. It's saying to never give up, to keep going on them. I think that's interesting because sometimes it's nice to relax and take a break. And it's just a funny quote. A lot of times I feel like on the podcast we're serious and have a have a background in how can we get better, how can we get better. Where sometimes it's nice to take a break. This weekend got to sleep in on one day of the week, and it was nice to have that to kind of rejuvenate myself. Second set in workouts and periodization. We got to go up and down. Your levels of your energy throughout the day kind of go up and down as well. So having a break is never a bad thing. I saw a post the other week from former CrossFitter, and he basically said he never took a week off working out ever, and he's done it a couple times in the last 6 months, and it's really helped his body to be better after those next 6 months. So long term, definitely breaks needed. We cannot go forever. So listen to your body, listen to yourself. I don't know what you need to recover because May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so that's cool. That kind of falls in line with that. And sleep recovery is important. Get those Z's, 8 hours a night. And remember, if you are in bed for 8 hours, it does not mean you get 8 hours of sleep. You're usually awake an hour to an hour and 10 minutes in your sleep, some more than others. And I learned from MindLift. I think it was MindLift or somebody, Tally Health actually, as it was, about REM sleep this week. And people who wake up 1 to 2 minutes or have intermittent times in their sleep remember their dreams more because it goes from short-term memory to long-term memory. And obviously, the more REM sleep you get, the more dreams you're going to have. So there's some sleep data for you. And I thought it was a good quote. So this week, like I said, we're going to be talking about working ahead and the building relationships we're going to throw in with God. So we're going to start with that. We'll just kind of put it all together, actually. That might be the easiest. We'll see where it goes. I only wrote down an outline this week. Normally I write down specific notes, but we're just going to throw it together and see what happens because, improv's okay. So first of all, building relationships is super important. So I had conferences last week, last conferences of the year. And a lot of times people don't come to conferences. So what the science team does all the time is we have like a competition based on how many we think we're going to have and how many actually show up. And then the winner and loser have something to do for each other or get or whatever it might be. So a little competition within the team. We usually try to pair up and eat dinner together, as well as we just have good conversations about nicknames and what's going on in life. And it's a really good time that we're forced to bond. I talked about prom a couple weeks ago, but just being in the gym and forcing ourselves to be there and hang out and learn more about each other is a really great time to spend time together. It's something we probably wouldn't always do if we had the choice. I think we all like each other, but it's just people have different lives. Um, so it's nice to be able to have that camaraderie and build that relationships. And that's where I saw God this week was building relationships with them. Because again, nobody wants to be at conferences until 8 o'clock at night. But a couple people said how it makes it more fun when we hang out and other departments see us having fun and talking. And work should be fun, right? It should be want to go to work, should want to see your colleagues or friends, have commonalities. And I think that having conferences helps build those commonalities. It makes the time a little bit better spent. And obviously helps us build relationships. And that's ultimately what Jesus wanted for us, is to build relationships. So that's really where I saw God this week, as well as just patience and in the week and day and what's going on. And that again brings me to my next point is working ahead. So I've always I call myself the world's worst procrastinator, not meaning that I put things off, but meaning that I don't procrastinate, that I get things done right away. I always used to say if there's a semester long project, I start that project the first day, get it set up, organized, and then I do it weekly or whatever it does, whatever I can do from what I've learned in class. So that way it's done before the semester's over. For me, finals week was the best week of the year because all I had to do is study 20 minutes a day for a class. I used to study, so if I had a class Monday, Wednesday, Friday in college, 2 weeks before the test, I would study on that class day plus the weekend. And then leading up to that test day, I would study the whole week every day for about 20 minutes. And that makes it so you never have to cram. As you're learning, you already have the stuff in the back of your mind, so you don't have to relearn it rather than coming back to it every 4 or 6 weeks when you have a test. Because that also helps you get in the short term to long term memory, and hopefully stick there a while. As we learn all these things and then we don't remember what's going on. I was talking to a student and he said that it happens in the ribosomes. And I was like, what's ribosome? He's like, I don't remember. So it didn't get stuck in his long-term memory. So I need to do a better job of that. He needs to do a better job of that. So that, I mean, ribosomes is not you don't necessarily need that, but um, just getting things into long-term memory is challenging. So the more you can do, the more review you can have, the better it is. They say you have to teach or say something 7 times for somebody to understand it. So what I do is I work ahead. I had conferences coming up, so I can make sure I just get it all organized, and all I have to do is execute. I've said that before. So we started. I needed to do like my quotes and keep my books up to date that I want to write and stuff like that, psychology stuff. Put my photos on my drive, so I always have those, and started doing that throughout the week because kids were working on a project. So that way I didn't waste time and do nothing. And I could work ahead. So that during conferences, instead of at the first day of summer, making a special teams playbook from what I've learned in my football career, decided to do that at conferences, but then had some time to do that during the week. So did that. And then essentially what I'm trying to do is get to where I have nothing to do, right? So then I try to do the playbook. I get that done for the most part. And then, okay, it's like, well, what do I do at conferences? Then I'm just going to sit here for 4 hours. I can't sit on ESPN and I'm in the gym. I can't really play a game or watch YouTube videos. I don't have any papers to grade. I don't have anything else to do. Other people might have conferences, so I just can't talk for 5 hours straight. So, okay, I have a grad school class that I can work on, so I'll start reading through that. Right, so you always think of something else you can do to work ahead to make those the days that you're not supposed to be at work, like weekends, that make sure, or nighttime, that you don't have to work on schoolwork. I've only done that schoolwork and other stuff like that maybe 5 times in my whole career teaching. And that's not counting like emails, other stuff like that, but totally like grading or working on assignments. During COVID, I had a few times, but other than that, I've probably done it a total of 5 times. So probably my whole teaching career for 5 years, I've only done it 10 days. That's basically once or twice a year. The outside of, if I'm not at school, now I stay late sometimes. If I have a meeting or need to finish something, but we're not talking like half hour late. Some of that's because I have great colleagues and classes already made for me. But using time wisely is super important. And that way, if you work ahead, then you don't have to do that at the time. So you can work ahead on something else, or you can spend time building relationships or getting the next test ready. Or for, in my case, getting stuff ready for summer football and what the plan is and what we're going to do. And I need to have that conversation with our head coach as well about what it's going to look like and those sort of things. But when you do that, working ahead allowed me to have those conversations with people. And I think just working ahead in general, can you plan out your workouts for the week? Can you get stretched while you're leaving your job? Like I literally stretch in my room and then go to work out at my house right when I get there. So I don't have to spend the extra 20 minutes to get ready. So I can get done 20 minutes earlier. So planning ahead allows you to work on other things and prioritize other things in order to be the best version of yourself, in all honesty. So something that I've always done, and I think that organizing, having a planner, and it also shows that less stress, less anxiety, and you dream a lot about your anxieties, going back to that. The less of those you have, the better sleep you're going to get, the better prepared you're going to feel, and the more prepared you are, the more confidence you can have. The more confidence you have, the better you're going to execute, which obviously all contributes to kind of overall well-being in life. And that's your sports psychology moment for the day, is that planning is preparation, and that's all 100% in your control, right? That stems from your attitude and effort. And if you're not competent, you need to spend time on that competency in order to make it happen. So I think working ahead is super important. To your extent, not too far ahead is not good as well. So taking it day by day, unless you can work ahead, do that. And then obviously spend time building relationships. Those are two things that I really want to hit on today. Again, short one, only about 10 minutes today. But remember, if we get to 14 minutes and 40 seconds, if you spend 10 minutes to listen to this and 4 minutes reflecting on it, 4 minutes putting together a plan that you can use this week. Now, you don't got to look next month. Just this week, today, what can you do a little bit to be prepared? Can you meal prep? Can you study for a little bit for a test? Can you do a big workout now? Can you plan your workouts? Can you write down your work schedule, when you need to pick up your kids, all these little things, when you're going to make an extra payment on your car? There's all sorts of things you can do to plan ahead, and just go day by day as well. You don't need to plan for 5 years, but what can you do today to make 5 years from now a little bit better, a little bit easier, and hopefully expand that growth? Because ultimately, that's what we're doing. We're in a race against ourselves and a race against time, because you only get one life. So on that note, YOLO, love you, catch you later, and I'll see you guys next time. Love you, bye.